There's a story that people have heard, but not really with all the details. I think it's important for us to really appreciate the beauty of this story and the one which follows it. Hi, I'm Peretz Rabbi Eichler, here on Hidebrut for Thinking Outside the Locks. Quite a number of years ago, there was a very difficult time in Poland. And this was in the 30s. And the tension in Poland had mounted. And there was a family that could only afford to send one of its children to the United States of America. So there was a very sad farewell, especially between the father and his young daughter, who was about 12 or 13 at the time. Her name was Rosie Goldstein. And I guess while we really shouldn't have favorites, Rosie was kind of her father's favorite. And he looked at her, and with tears in his eyes, he said, "Rosie, you're going to America. Remember all the good things that you experienced here. And remember, Rosie, more than we keep Shabbos, Shabbos keeps us. Rosie, promise me you'll always remember that." And the little girl hugged her father and said, "I will, Papa, I will." And with tears in their eyes, the mother, the father, and the daughter, and the rest of the family parted. Now, when Rosie got to America, things were not exactly, shall we say, rosy. When she got there, the family that greeted her, that was part of their family, who the people in Poland thought were naturally religious Jews, didn't quite look like the Jews in Poland. In fact, they had kind of thrown off everything that they just considered to be vestigial, things that they didn't need anymore. You know, like keeping Shabbos and putting on tefillin and keeping kosher. So Rosie was kind of disappointed. And they said, "Hey, Rosie, you want kosher food? There's a kosher store down the block. You can bring your own food. We won't stop you from doing that." Now, Rosie, you got to get to work right away. Now, we know you're only 13 years old, but you know, you don't have time to go to school. You got to keep your end of what you're doing here. We're giving you rent, right? And you got to pay for your food. So, Rosie, you got to go to work. Now, we got a great job lined up for you. "Oh, I have to go to work," she said. "Yeah, Rosie, we got a great place for you. It's a factory, not far from here." And they put her to work. Now, of course, what Rosie didn't know, when Friday afternoon came, she looked at her watch. She said, "Oh, it's almost time for Shabbos. I have to go." And the boss said, "Hey, where you going, young lady?" "Well, it's time for Shabbos." "And there are plenty of other Jewish girls here. They're staying. You stay here. You'll finish when we tell you. Okay, you got another 2 hours, but it'll already be Shabbos, the Sabbath at that time. Hey, you want to come back here Monday? You stay here now. I'm sorry, I'm really not feeling well. I have to go home." And so she made an excuse, and she went home and kept Shabbos. The following week, the same thing happened. But now Rosie decided that she was not going to work on Shabbos. She remembered the image of her father. "Rosie, remember, more than we keep Shabbos, Shabbos keeps us. I won't let you down, Tati. I won't let you down, Papa. I won't let you down." Week after week, it was another excuse: a stomach ache, a headache, a toe ache, an elbow ache, whatever it was. She was not going to work on Shabbos. Till finally her family called her and said, "Hey, Rosie, you want to stay here? We're not charging you any rent. Now, this has got to stop. You have to keep your part of the upkeep. You've got to go to work on Saturday, and that's it, just like everybody else does." "I don't know. I guess I'll have to," she said. So that Shabbos morning, she set out for work, tears in her eyes, but yet she kept seeing the image of her father and her mother. "Rosie, more than we keep Shabbos, Shabbos keeps us." So she went to go to the factory, but something stopped her. She sat down on a bench, she looked at the pigeons, she sang, she had a little something to eat with her, and she made Kiddush over whatever she had, and she made her Shabbos on that park bench, a lonely little girl crying herself to sleep. Well, when she looked up, it was dark. She realized that Shabbos was over. She went back to her house, opened the door and walked in, and her uncle and her cousins looked at her, and their faces were pale. And she burst out into tears. I know, I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. I'll leave, I'll pack up, I'll go somewhere else." Rosie, what are you doing here?" "What do you mean? I came back. I came back. I couldn't go to work. We know that, Rosie, because there was a fire in the factory that you worked in. And everybody was killed, Rosie, except you. Because you didn't go to work on Shabbos, Rosie. You lived. It was known as the Triangle Shirt Factory Fire, a tragedy that struck New York City at that time. Every single child and worker, most of whom were Jewish, perished in that fire, except for Rosie Goldstein. How do I know this story? Because I spoke to Rosie Goldstein's granddaughter, a woman who remembered the story as told to her parents, and then who she told to her children. And she said that that was something that Rosie Goldstein, even as she became older and wiser, passed on to her kids. And those children today perpetuate that very same heritage. Remember, children, more than we keep Shabbos, Shabbos keeps us. As indeed it did for Rosie Goldstein. But it shouldn't take a fire or a tragedy to make us realize that. More than we keep Shabbos, Shabbos keeps us. It always has, and it always will. Peretz B. Eichler, thinking outside the locks, here on Hit a Brood.